Good morning. Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation will come to order. Before I begin my opening statement, today marks the 17th anniversary of the Colgan Air Flight 3407 accident in New York. We remember the 50 lives lost as we somberly meet to discuss another deadly aviation accident. Aviation safety relies on the Swiss cheese model to mitigate and manage risk. Layers upon layers of human intervention and technology are meant to close any vulnerabilities or figurative holes left by the previous layer. Unfortunately, just over 1 year ago, that safety system failed just 3 miles from here at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. For more than 15 years, pilots, controllers, and reams of aviation data detected at least one near mid-air collision each and every month at National Airport. In 2013, after a helicopter and plane on approach to DCA nearly crashed into each other, controllers and helicopter operators formed a working group to improve coordination in the local airspace. That group met often, and at some point even elevated recommendations to revise and improve mapped flight routes to show known hotspots. But their suggestions were ignored. That's one of the many failures uncovered by the NTSB that, had people responded differently, tragedy would have been avoided last year. I want to commend NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy and all of the NTSB staff for their efforts. They did yeoman's work to complete the DCA crash investigation in just 12 months. In addition to examining the causes of the DCA accident, the NTSB made 50 recommendations to improve aviation safety. One of those recommendations, arguably the most impactful one, should be familiar. For the 18th time, let me repeat that, for the 18th time, the NTSB is urging aircraft in busy airspace to have ADSB on board. Had the Black Hawk and Bombardier CRJ been equipped to receive ADSB location signals on January 29th, 2025, the pilots would have been warned of each other's exact position nearly 1 minute before impact. And 67 people would still be alive today. Instead, the CRJ's pilots didn't see the helicopter until a split second before impact, while the helicopter crew, it appears, never saw the CRJ. The NTSB review revealed another major safety loophole. Military aircraft were routinely ignoring rules that required aircraft flying in busy airspace to transmit ADSB signals. Although planes don't share locations with each other via ADSB, they must broadcast such information to air traffic control. But the Army uses a special carve-out so that it didn't have to consistently comply with the broadcast mandate. Moreover, the NTSB discovered that this particular helicopter's ADSB out wasn't even configured correctly. After the January crash, the FAA eliminated the military's blanket exemption. But just a few weeks ago, a brand new loophole was tucked into the annual Defense Authorization Bill, making it easier for the military to continue flying without ADSB around DCA. If we learned anything from the DCA crash, it's that you can't have a safe airspace when operators are following different sets of rules. That's why our committee authored and passed the bipartisan Rotor Act. The Rotor Act, which passed the Senate unanimously in December, rescinds that new defense bill loophole, and it enacts the central NTSB recommendation of this investigation. The Rotor Act requires all aircraft in congested airspace to broadcast their location to each other via ADSB. The Rotor Act ensures a commercial airliner landing in a major airport has visibility in daytime or in darkness to any nearby aircraft, whether it's a military helicopter or a general aviation pilot, and vice versa. No more flying blind. The Rotor Act will begin to protect the flying public now, which is why the House should pass it and put it on the President's desk for his signature. Now, I've heard some faint grumbling from stakeholders and others who want to put the same kind of loopholes into the Rotor Act that caused the DCA crash. Some want exemptions for private jets, while a few airlines quietly carp about the cost of safety-enhancing technology. These criticisms aren't valid, and they are frankly disturbing. Flying can only be safe when everybody follows the same standards. Why would we want to exempt regional airlines from NTSB given that Flight 5342 was a regional airline? I hope my House colleagues don't wait for another accident or for the NTSB to have to come back and recommend NTSB for the 19th time before acting. And the notion that somehow private jets should receive a blanket exception makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know how anyone can look in the eyes of the victims' families and justify that argument. I also hope the House doesn't try to resolve the dozens of other safety recommendations from the NTSB, because we know this particular one on NTSB can start now and save lives. Today, there are planes taking off from Ronald Reagan National Airport. Today, there are planes landing at Ronald Reagan National Airport. There are planes that may have your loved ones on them or my loved ones on them. And every single day we delay, we are putting our families in danger for no reason whatsoever. In the room with us today are loved ones of the 67 men, women, and children who were killed in last January's crash. I'm encouraged and inspired by your tireless advocacy for safer skies. It pains all of us to know that your lives have been irreparably changed. There's nothing we can do to bring back your spouses, your children, your parents, your cousins, or your friends. But I hope that we can turn your grief into action. Thank you for working so hard to make sure that no other family has to suffer the kind of tragedy that you're feeling the pain of each and every day. I now turn to Ranking Member Cantwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.